And so I'm kind of partial against OPV, even though that's the one I had. I had OPV because I'm older than 28. So they gave OPV for most of the time in the 20th century. After the first few years, they switched, and partially because of what happened with the cutter incident, and there was a setback, which ultimately made everything way safer. It really, that's the origin of all our vaccine safety and all that. But for a few decades, we were giving OPV, oral polio vaccine, up until to everybody up till 1997, and then from 97 to 2000, it kind of transitioned to all IPV, going back to IPV. And so the only places they're giving OPV now is in places where they don't think they have enough trained people, and they don't have the resources to give IPV, because the IPV, you need an intramuscular injection, so you need nurses or someone else who knows how to give an IM injection. And so it's all kind of, well, we can give everybody, we can get the OPV spread around, plus it spreads itself after you give it, because it's fecal to oral and it's just live, and it spreads that way. So the rationale has been that, but as some of you know really, really well, so OPV, so it's got the 3 strains in there that have been they've been altered so that they're not pathogenic. OPV1, OPV2, and OPV3. But the problem is that there's a possibility of reversion to a pathogenic phenotype. From partial reversion of the genome, and that was producing kind of what's called vaccine-induced polio, which was the biggest problem was with the OPV2 component of it, and all the OPV2 that occurs now is from the oral polio vaccine. There's not from the wild type. There's no more wild type OPV2 anymore. I think we got rid of the 1 also, and then there's 3. Okay, and so we get to a point where it's like diminishing return. It helps most people, but there's that small amount that if they're a little bit immunocompromised, or if there's reversion, it gets into the water supply, then it'll affect other people. And so there was the case that we had in the United States a few years ago in 2022 of unvaccinated. You still there, David?
David. We are just listening to you because you're making a lot of sense.
David, I think we lost David.
That's Berkey. He put him down because he's a Zio.
What you saying, little...
Hold on, I think he's back. Dolo, hold on. We got people ahead of you, sir.
Expand it a little bit, yeah.
Dolo, hold on. It's not your turn. Dave?
I kid. What
I don't know. He'll probably come back.
Has I got a vaccine or not? So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Okay, we'll go back to you, Dave, after Joy. So go ahead, Joy. You said you're autistic.
Yeah, I'm autistic, but I'm not sure if it's from having the vaccine or not.
Well, don't you worry. Robert F. Kennedy is going to let you know by September.
Dude, do I have to put you back down already?
We need arrests now! Justice for vaccine survivors now! Justice for They kicked me.
died before he got out of his new day in court to retry his case, to prove his innocence once and for all. But basically, there was another author. There was another author who questioned James Earl Ray. His name was Harold Weisberg. So another Jewish writer who questioned the story, but implicated. That doesn't revert genetically as easily, but it still does a little bit, a small percentage, and ends up that most of the cases of paralytic polio that arise are from the OPV. The IPV doesn't do that. All right, it doesn't have the advantage of it doesn't immunize the GI tract, but it keeps you from getting sick. Actually, needed to get the vaccine. It's not going to spread around on its own, but it's the one that works better. The efficacy is great, and so we just have to use the resources. We gotta spend the money, get the trained people to do it, and we gotta give it out to everybody. Because what's going to happen in Gaza is there will be now cases from the OPV, unfortunately. So, but you can get now the IPV in there. You can handle it. That way. So I think that's what we need to do. We need to do that also in all the other places where polio is still endemic. We need to get IPV out there. So I'm landing based on that.
Thanks, David. Yeah, I think the OPV and the IPV, it's definitely been an interesting thing that's, the OPV, I think, has been maligned, but it makes you wonder why we just can't have the IPV for everybody, but it is
I'm
what
just
it is.
being facetious.
Yo, $1 million on the line. $1 million on the line, comedian. Will you suck a dick to get that $1 million?
I mean, what do you consider sucking a dick?
Suck a dick. Mouth on
Yeah, but my fellow N-word, like, how long do you have to suck the dick? Is it just like a kiss?
Just say the word. Lucifer, you can give him the time limit. You can give him the time limit, Lucifer. Huh? He said how long? Why you say the N-word? Such bitch shit.
I'm saying it. I'm donating money to Shiloh's fund. I'm donating money to Shiloh. My fellow N-words, the time has come. The time has come to call an N-word an N-word. And if you're not going to say the N-word, then you're a coward for not saying the N-word.
He's deflected out his emotional ability. He's scared of the observer and the curator. He's scared of. Yeah, he's scared of. Don't be scared of the observer and the curator. Nigga, you the one that told us how to.
I came back to the abyss to tell you guys, hey, what's up? Find out what's going on in the abyss with the Black Brothers.
The brothers of the abyss. Of the bliss. Now we aligned with one. The observer and the curator are aligned, and we got them. say nigga, bro. Say the word, bro. Just say the word for us. Nigga. Go ahead. You can say it like hard.
My fellow N-words, I just came back to say what's up in the abyss.
Say nigga.
Shiloh. Welcome back to my comedy podcast called N-Word.
We got the game, man.
Can a dog be a cat? Can a cat be a dog?
Bow down, my master, Jigsaw, my master. Bow down to you, Jigsaw. Let the games begin, Jigsaw. Good to see you. We got the observer, the curator, and the game. Jigsaw. Oh, man, comedy. You didn't want something. You got it. That's right. You're here live. I just want you to call me a nigga. We just want you to call us a nigga and let the games begin. Tell us, sir. Wow, look at comedian. Call us a nigger. Yeah, call us a nigger. Call us some niggers. Come on. We gonna do it.
Listen, you N-words, I'm not going to call you an N-word. It's for low IQ people that only use the N-word. Obviously, I'm in another room with low IQ N-word people.
The N-word again. I don't know. To be honest with you, comedian, you have a lower IQ because you can't step beyond that boundary that shows your incompetence. Really, it does.
No, I'm live streaming on 15 different YouTubes. If I use the N-word, I'll get censored. But since you're N-words, you got the N-word pass. You can use the N-word as much as you want.
Call us nigga. Call us. Are you scared of YouTube? Wait a minute. Are you scared of YouTube? Are you scared of YouTube? Oh shit. Oh, is YouTube your god? He's probably sucking YouTube's dick. Yeah, he gotta be sucking it. The guy that runs YouTube. Who is the comedian? Who are you sucking? Yeah, did you?
You guys are just projecting dick sucking and N-words. This is very low IQ.
What is N-words? I don't understand this word. Can you give us N-words? We don't know what that is. What is N-words? Say the word.
Let me ask you a question. If somebody offered to pay you $1 million to suck a dick for 10 minutes, would you do it?
When we asked you that question, you didn't answer. Yeah, we waiting for your
I'm asking you first, as a follow-up. Would you suck a dick for $1 million? Yes or no?
You. Then why don't you answer the question first? We asked you the question. We asked you to say.
I told you I'm not going to use the N-word, my fellow N-words, and I'm asking you what you asked me. Would you suck a dick for 10 minutes?
Why are you afraid to answer our question?
$1 million. Would you suck a dick for $1 million for 10 minutes of sucking a dick?
What if we already have millions in the bank? That ain't nothing.
What if you sucked a dick for free and didn't get paid the $1 million, but you needed a lawyer to sue the person who offered you the $1 million for sucking the dick? How much money would you need to file the lawsuit to get the $1 million you owed for sucking the dick?
What would we need $1 million for? Well, what would we need a lawyer for? They're dumb. Wait, what are you talking about? We're above the system.
I'm just asking you a question with regards to sucking dick for $1 million.
You don't believe in your God, do you, comedian?
RFK Jr. will order placebo testing for new vaccines, alarming health experts.
The observer has to head out. Catch you later, brother. I'll leave you with this peasant. All right, man. One love. Let the games continue. Oh, comedian, you're so funny. Why do you think that we need... Oh, look, Summer's here. Let's get Summer in here. I didn't think that Benji was going to stay long. He likes to observe and laugh at you guys. You guys are funny. Come on up, Summer. What do you have to say? I invite you up. What's up?
What's up? How's it going?
Everything is fucking awesome, man. Can a dog decide it wants to be a human being?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay. And then if a dog is a human, or are you going to hold to your moral? Wait, let me ask you, do you have morals and integrity? How important is morals and integrity to you? Does that mean anything, morals and integrity?
The question doesn't mean anything, right? It's just all about how you conduct yourself.
How you conduct yourself? Well, what do you mean? Are you into like bucking motherfuckers and making them act a certain domesticating people?
In some cases, yeah. I think some people are very misbehaved and they do need to be domiciled.
Domiciled. Okay, who are you to say that people need to be domiciled?
I'm the authority.
What kind of authority are you?
Look, you ask a question, right? And then you completely disregard the answer, and then you ask something like totally.
Are you trying to speak
I don't know what the fuck.
Are you trying to speak from your authority right now?
No, I'm just trying to point out that you don't have like consistency in your questions. You ask about like, okay, people need to be domiciled, right?
You said that.
Yeah, but you ask like.
And I said, well, who are you to say that people need to be domiciled?
Look, it doesn't matter who I am as an individual.
Pay attention to what you're saying. Can you say the word nigger?
Nigger.
There you go. Look at that, comedian. It was that easy. Why do you think comedian can't call and say the word nigger?
I don't know.
You think he's a bitch? You think he's a bitch for not being able to call me nigger?
It's his choice, right? Everybody has their own choice of language and vocabulary.
He said the N-word, and I don't understand what the N-word means.
You asked me, can I say the word nigger? Why are you saying N-word now? Why are you saying N-word? You literally...
Are you asking him? I was asking you what the fuck.
No, if you asked me, can I say the N-word? I would have said the N-word. But you asked me.
Well, what is the N-word?
You asked me.
What is
Lucifer.
the N-word? What is the N-word, Summer?
Your ethnicity or your race.
What are you talking about? My ethnicity? What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm talking about the people on SNAP benefits or whatever. Like I'm talking about those people.
fuck are you? What the fuck?
I don't think that's authority. I don't see no authority.
What the fuck is wrong with this dude? What the fuck is?
I'm talking about the people from your
I think
vicinity.
I think you are fucking batshit crazy.
It might be him that need to be domiciled.
Yeah, he
Well,
needs to be. This nigga needs
I
to be.
sure am enjoying this egg roll.
No,
I sure am
actually,
enjoying this
I
egg roll.
think you need to be domiciled.
Mm.
I like for you to run around
Yummy.
in fear. I like to continue to watch your
He
motherfucking ass.
just went from vibrating real high to now he just going like a rock. Low
Yeah,
vibration.
I'm gonna take a bite of these noodles.
Now you talking about egg rolls and noodles. How you just go from that to that, man?
Mm.
What you running from?
Yeah, this motherfucker. This motherfucker said he's in charge of domicile.
I'm the authority of bleep, 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 bleep. And you started crashing out like, dang, bro, stay on the course, man. You just went from your high seat to an egg roll of noodles.
Can a nigga enjoy his egg rolls and noodles?
Hell yeah, nigga. Go ahead, man.
We trying to figure out what authority you was talking about. I guess it's egg rolls and noodles.
Yeah, thanks, Hustle. Get me back on that. I almost lost that. Yeah, so tell
No,
me
he
what authority.
tried to wiggle out that jam. Ain't no wiggling, nigga.
What authority do you have, Summer? Summer.
That's probably what he was told by his parents or his ancestors. You know.
Oh shit, probably he told him that he had authority. Domicile niggas. Because he think he got money. He think money is the power. You think money is power, nigga?
Yeah, I don't talk with food in my mouth, right? But
It's okay. Why you gonna talk with food in your mouth? I can understand.
I know. So what I'm saying is, there's nothing wrong with enjoying egg rolls and noodles. It's better than slinging at the stop sign, right?
Slinging at the stop sign. Who does that?
You know who?
No, that's why I was asking you.
You goddamn know exactly who I'm talking about.
Don't know what you're talking about, Summer.
Why don't you go to the stop sign and observe for yourself?
And when I go there, what am I going to see? Because you know, can you help me out and tell me what I'm going to see?
Egg rolls and noodles.
Egg rolls and noodles. Hey, Summer, do you love your mother?
Do you love your mother?
Well, I don't have one. What about you?
Yeah, same. I was born in a petri dish.
You were born in a petri dish. Interesting. So you don't have a mother or a father?
You can relate. Why is that surprising? You don't have one either.
Well, why do you think I was surprised? I said you don't have a mother or father. I was just confirming, correct? Or maybe you internalized that I was surprised.
Because you were asking the same question twice.
Well, you didn't respond. That's why I asked again.
That's the point of repeating the question.
No, I literally said I was born in a petri dish. You know what a petri dish is?
So that means you don't have a father? I'm asking.
I don't have parents. Biological parents. I was born in a petri dish.
All right. Where you from though? What petri dish were you see that?
And why does that pertain to you, nigga?
I was
Damn, did you just become black?
I was dropped off in Washington D.C. The ship dropped me off in Washington.
Only proportionally.
Huh? Washington D.C. is magical, man. Have you ever been to D.C.?
Yeah, I've been there a few times. It's all right.
Yeah, it's magical, bro. Where you hanging out at?
I went to the White House. I went to both the East Wing, the West Wing.
That's what you did?
Yeah, I saw the control room. I met Obama and his daughters.
Did you go to
I've been to the Congressional Hall. I've been to all those events.
Chili Bowl? Did you go to Ben's Chili Bowl?
Is that a haircut place?
Nah, man. I said Ben's Chili Bowl, fuck boy.
Yeah, you're showing your class.
I said Ben's Chili Bowl.
Is that what you do after you eat at Ben's Chili Bowl? Burp like that?
I have to say, Summer, I do what the fuck I want to do. How's about that?
Is that what you do in public? You stuff yourself. You stuff yourself on Ben's Chili Bowl and you just burp.
Summer, I'm butt naked right now and I'm sitting outside. I do what the fuck I want to do. Do you?
Exactly.
Do you do what the fuck you want to do, or do you do what I tell you to do?
I do exactly what I want to do, but I maintain a decorum and I do things in a classy way, not in an uncivilized way.
Yeah, you're my slave. I love you. Well,
oh yeah.
Good and faithful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm totally the slave, right? Totally.
Did you know the decorum?
I was brought here straight from West Africa, and
Did you know the decorum?
I was a slave for like 400 years.
Do you know why the decorum was made up?
They made it up on the ship. The captain of the ship announced to all of us while we were on our way from across the Atlantic. He told us, okay,
that was deep.
This is how it's gonna be.
So do you know why decorum was created?
I know why.
Uh-huh.
I know why, but what's your take?
All right, well, I'm asking you the question, though, so I'm just asking you what you
so that,
think.
So that we could create a safe space for law-abiding citizens. Just want to enjoy.
We put so much work into it, and it's still, like, it was...
When you say it, do you mean the vaccine or a certain thing? You're kind of being vague.
I mean, sort of like the vaccine being one part of a larger effort to combat the virus.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting question. I mean, everything's risk versus benefit, right? And so I think as long as, the benefits outweigh the risk of said intervention, I think that's when it's worth doing. I just took my boards and I was studying number needed to treat, relative risk reduction, absolute risk reduction. And what's really interesting is, number needed to treat is actually like the inverse of the absolute risk reduction. So it's, I think as long as, and once again, we always want good trials, good studies, and good, long-term data for outcomes. And I think as long as whatever your intervention is a benefit rather than a risk, it's, that's why we keep doing it. And so obviously some things have more benefit or more, and some things have more adverse. And so that's kind of what we learn over time. That's science, right? We find out what works, and then kind of where we're going with kind of genomic medicine and different things like that. We're finding out, what people are down to the molecular level where there's defects, and we can start treating people with that. And maybe some of these drugs that have caused side effects in 1% of people are dangerous, we can find out it's not going to cause those kind of effects in others. And that's kind of exciting when you look at it. So long story short, so far it looks like the benefits still outweigh the risk, but I think I wouldn't say I think everybody's really decided what they're going to do on it. So I think we're just kind of pontificating back and forth. So
I had one friend of mine who didn't want to be friends with me anymore. He thought I would put his mom at risk because at the very start, I had caught a cold. I had a bit of a sniffle and a bit of a cough, and he wanted to travel to another province to visit his mom. And he said if I didn't take the COVID test, that I was responsible for putting his mom at risk. And then we didn't talk to each other again, but then I found out some years later she died anyway. And it's like, we can't be friends anymore because he thought I was putting her at risk, and then she died anyway. Like,
well, I mean, that's, I mean, no one should ever put friendship in that kind of bubble, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's up to you and him to kind of make peace or whatever, but the pandemic was scary for a lot of people, and, good or bad decisions, people made them, and, yeah, if I've learned one thing after time is that, time heals wounds, so never be afraid to reach out and try to repair, so that's, but we will move on. Did you, thanks though for speaking, Si. Jeffrey, did you want to comment?
Yes, thanks. So I'll identify myself again. I'm Jeffrey Johnston, International Affairs columnist for the Kingston Week Standard. I put up in the Jumbotron post that I did earlier this year. I want to address that account, the Republican account that was screaming and yelling and spreading disinformation, but also it was very disturbing. I actually had to duck out after a while just because
he's requesting again on his third account. Can you believe that shit?
Yeah. So in a nutshell, what he was saying reflects a very dangerous trend on social media, and you have the far right making clearly threats against public figures like Dr. Fauci and others. And this doesn't just extend to famous people. It also extends to journalists such as myself. And I myself come in for threats.
I myself am a journalist.
I consider you famous, Jeffrey.
In a very small city. Anyway, I get all these crazy threats, people saying that they hope that I took all the clot shots, and one said, I hope I took 100 mRNA shots up my butt, and they also made a very anti-Semitic remark. A lot of the time there's anti-Semitism infused with this, saying that these are Jewish shots made by Jewish scientists.
That's what these people in this room are doing. There's a lot of anti-Semites in this room right now. In fact, the fucking mods are all anti-Semites.
Work during the pandemic, organizing mass vaccination clinics and advocating for the most vulnerable people in our society. And many of these are women Jewish doctors, and they are targeted for the most vile sort of anti-Semitism, where people are saying, we hope that you meet the same fate that your grandparents met in the Nazi death camps in Poland. Threatening to put them in ovens, threatening to kill their families. Now I've got, emails where they say that I will be put on trial at Nuremberg 2.0 and I will be hanged, because I have written lots of articles about the importance of vaccinations and public health response to COVID-19. And earlier tonight, I spoke about the measles outbreak and the importance
He's
of
a Canadian, ladies and gentlemen.
And these
you
people
can hear it
on the
in
right,
his
the
voice.
far right, not just ordinary people, but the far right, they have radicalized ordinary people on social media. And the problem is now a lot of people get their news from social media, and they don't get it from a variety of legitimate journalistic sources, and so they become brainwashed, and
this
the
guy's
algorithm
fucking hilarious.
feeds them this really extreme material. And then you get what we had tonight, this guy clearly making these not so veiled threats against public figures. And that kind of speech can inspire unbalanced people to actually go out and commit acts.
I'm the only one talking.
It's not a joke. It's not funny, and we should never normalize it. And, doctors and nurses and healthcare workers and journalists are on the front lines of this, and we're the ones being threatened. And I take it seriously, and I hope everybody else
It's
does.
called life.
So thank you.
How would you even get, I don't think the vaccine would work that way. I mean, I don't know, Dr. You're a doctor.
That's of all what Jeffrey said, that's what you focused on. But Jeffrey, I agree.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I know, but I would never take a vaccine in that route. But it is what it is. But yeah, I think that Jeffrey, that guy clearly was just a troll, and I don't think anybody in our cell, he's requesting again. I don't think anybody took that guy seriously, because he was he's just has every stupid talking point, and he proved his ignorance and his lameness all in one fell swoop.
Spot on, I think.
You know, I do want to stress, though, that a lot of these guys, when you look at their accounts, there is a lot of misogyny and anti-Semitism just below the surface. As I say, you know, I interviewed a prominent doctor in Ottawa. I've interviewed her a whole bunch of times, Dr. Neely Kaplan-Mirth, and she organized these clinics called Jabapalooza, and they would vaccinate thousands of people, and they prioritize the most vulnerable people, so pregnant people, elderly, cancer patients, children who are old enough to be vaccinated, family members of cancer patients, because the cancer patients couldn't be vaccinated. And for her troubles, people were threatening to kill her. And she had to file multiple police reports, and there have been arrests in this.
Do you hear this, Jabapalooza?
Always. There's always anti-Semitism. They always
What's
check
all this
off
anti-Semitism shit?
when it comes to their complaints. And I know Truther gets this, and I know, you know, I'm Christian, but when I see this stuff and when I get this stuff, then I become a Jew. Because when I write,
he's Jewish now.
For a
he
short
was a Christian.
time,
now he works in Medicare. Now he's a journalist.
Anti-Semitism and the hatred that is directed towards Jews, and that gives me a greater appreciation for what our Jewish brothers and sisters and women are going through during these times. Because the far right is empowered, and they feel like they can say these hateful things with impunity, and in many cases they can say it with impunity because they're getting away with it. And the best I can do as a journalist is to never get into this crap.
Never.
You know, if you threaten me, if you send me an email, you know what I do? I end up by writing an article about it. And so in 2023, my account was inundated by hate from these anti-vaxxers and anti-Semites. And so over the course of 3 days, I received thousands and thousands and thousands of hate messages, and people threatened to rape and kill me and all this. And so I ended up by doing a big article, and I interviewed an expert, and close to 1 million people read it. And you know what? As soon as the article was published, it stopped. So the only way to deal with these people is to stand up to them.
You go. Strong, courageous patriot.
I appreciate it, Jeffrey, but you know, we will not facilitate anyone that is making actual threats, and we chide in them and make fun of them and report them if they so are making threats. So, and that goes for Mr. Banhammer. So you know who we're talking about, Banhammer. So cut your shit out. Berkey, who is next? Is it this Max person?
It's Strategic Jane, actually.
Okay, well, thank you, Max. Strategic. Okay, Strategic Jane?
Hey, thank you, guys.
Very polite, very polite.
I appreciate it. I just wanted to mention one thing, and, you know, you mentioned misinformation. The amount of mis and disinformation that has been spread on the internet has taken off like wildfire. About just a year before the election, it seems like it ramped up, and now it's turned into, it's gone from being on the fringe to being something normal. To hear a member of Congress put out a Kremlin talking point, and given how much friendlier our president has become with Vladimir Putin, I don't even want to think about this, but I guess I think it behooves everybody to make sure the information you are counting on and you are finding as your ground truth is in fact consistently maintaining its quality. Make sure that you do that, because you can find information sources slipping very suddenly and you may or may not even notice it. And it's really worth your while to keep track of it. Just bounce test your sources every now and again to make sure that they are still putting out quality information on anything. It's really important. That's true with national security, things like this, but conspiracy related stuff, I'm frankly blown away that Laurel Loomer is determining who is on the National Security Council staff, who the National Security Advisor is, or at least has a hand in advising the president. And I'm not going to get into the discussion of why that's happening, other than to say, oh man, we are really in trouble if this is the case, because she's not making any informed decisions about national security.
Laura Loomers is not making any decisions that are based in our reality.
Exactly. She's into her own reality TV show or something like that. I mean, she's just been, I was thinking for a lot of years, she's just shouting in the rain, and I realized, no, she's not.
She has a purpose, and that purpose is not known to any human being besides Laura Loomer.
Yeah, that's very true. Good point. But
you know what's really sad though is like the one thing her and I actually bonded over. We were saving dogs from a New York website, so it's just sad that people that can or have the possibility for such good are such freakazoids sometimes. But
yeah, it really is. Anyway, thank you very much.
Okay, Max, now you're up.
Yeah, thanks for letting me speak. I'm a long-time listener this room, and also Ian Copeland, although he does less spaces these days. I don't really know where to start, so I'll just give it.
I was going to say Ian Malcolm.
Sorry?
Dr. Copeland!
Ian Malcolm.
No. I'm definitely not on Team Groiper, just to throw that out there, and I don't have any criticisms of vaccines. And even if I did, I don't have the knowledge to read the studies that would prove me right, even if I read them, which I don't. So let's just get that out of the way. I'm not on that team. So here's what I'll say. I implore you guys, I beg you guys on some level. In fact, all I've done for the last 18 months, and this isn't a joke, is sit in my room. I document Jew hatred for maybe 18 hours a day.
Damn.
I don't sleep very much. I don't go outside. We have reached a point of essentially no return. You already know this, okay? We used to say on October 7th and the preceding months that we cannot let it become normalized because we all know what happens once it does. And yet it has become more than normalized to the point where even letting these trolls have any airtime whatsoever is dangerous in a way that I don't think any of us are willing to face. For example, even the seemingly innocuous ones can be quite malicious if you push them. So just give me as much time as you'll let me have here. For example, Joy just came up. Okay, you might not speak Web3, or to put it a different way, you might not speak crypto. I speak crypto. I speak Web3. She's a goddamn milady. If you don't know anything about the miladies and their dog whistles, Vermilio, Remilio, and the other ones I won't repeat, then you might not know exactly who they hang out with. But if you're concerned about people hanging out in the JQ rooms and you're completely oblivious to what a milady is, it's just a time of the signs without being aware to how bad it really is. So this is the key takeaway before my ramble becomes probably incoherent because I don't like speaking in front of big groups. Stop giving these people even a second of time. Okay, they are actually using this time to disrupt any chance we might have to band together before it just becomes too late, which is a thing, again, it seems silly to say at this point. Okay, this room right here, and Ian Copeland's, before they had the Judaism is not Zionism person become so prominent, is one of the last fucking goddamn bastions of safe haven for the Jewish community and its allies on the entirety of X. Okay, it really is that bad. That guy who came up the other night, who wanted to ramble on about his pool theories at Auschwitz-Birkenau, okay, he's not here to have a good faith debate. That you probably know. What you probably don't know is he is one of Legion, and what he's here to do is sow discourse. And I'll give you an easy example. At some point, Dr. Dave, and rightfully so, said the obvious. You wouldn't say this shit in person, and if you did, someone would kick you in the head. At that point, he tried to turn it around on Dr. Dave. Are you threatening me? Are you threatening me? Which, by the way, is his game. It's to sit there and egg you on nonstop until you do what anyone would do, which is to say, fuck off, Nazi, and then threaten the guy who you've been poking. Now, notice the room's reaction to Dr. Dave saying somebody would kick you in the head. Oh, we don't want to encourage violence. We're not about that, blah, 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 blah. We should not be tone policing Dr. Dave when he points out the obvious, which, if you need it to be more obvious, let me say this. That guy, they had a pool at Auschwitz, look how smart I am. Okay, we wasted 2 hours on his dumb ass, when anyone could just link him a Red Cross document of a modern day nature, which specifically says it was 6 million Jews and 5 million others. Okay, he's here to sow discourse. They all are. And this is the part where nobody likes me for saying the obvious. They're winning. Okay, they are winning. I every night hope to find a room like this to see some element of the light fighting against this darkness. And what I see is 10 fucking rooms all debating the JQ question, or trying to pretend as if they're just having polite discourse, like Suleiman, who on October 8th said, oh, look, I'm not anti-Jewish, I'm anti-Zionist. Oh my God, Mario, does I control space? Mario controls that. Dude, that guy just hosted a debate where the question was, did the Zionists have a partnership with the Nazis? Okay, I don't know how nobody can see this but me, and maybe it's just me being paranoid, although I hate to consider myself paranoid in the current climate. Something very bad is brewing, and we should not be sitting here talking about, oh, these dumb trolls online, blah, blah, blah. No, these are the people that we might actually be fighting against in a couple of years' time. We're so hell-bent on making it anything up. Yeah, anyway, it's a how much time you got thing, but if there's any dialogue to be sparked from my little rant, I would appreciate it, because I'll say this last. When I talk to my non-Jewish friends, they say it immediately. Holy shit, this is going the exact wrong way. When I talk to my Jewish friends, they cope. They don't want to hear it. I'll give you a little anecdote and then I'll drop. I had a friend who was, suffice to say, more than kind to the anti-Zionist crowd, mainly because some of his friends had become anti-Zionists, as I'm sure many of your friends have. Well, when I pointed out to him that something very nasty is brewing, and he should probably live his life based on that prediction, what he heard was, you're raising your kids wrong, you're living in the wrong place, you should listen to me and not your own gut. Okay, there's no way to tell a fellow Jew at this point that they're in danger, and by definition avoiding that danger is a mistake, without telling them that they're living their life improperly. And so they cope. Again, any non-Jewish friend I have will immediately capitulate. This is going somewhere very bad. So it worries me more than not that the most pushback I get to my quote paranoia is from my own tribe. But on that note, I'll if anyone wants to comment, go.
And I'll just say that first of all, it is pretty funny that I thought you were a Groiper, and then you're like, I spent 18 hours fighting against Jew hate. Did he go? Oh, he's there. Okay. Yeah. So just, I mean, I understand and appreciate what you're saying. I think that this is like an age-old debate. Like everyone has it, and we have the same kind of debate with vaccines as well. Like, do we let the anti-vaxxers talk? Do we debate them, or do we just hope they go away and then the problem goes away? And if we just ignore them and just let them talk in their own rooms, and it's similar to the rise of anti-Semitism in all these Jew hate rooms and JQ spaces. I talk about this with Yehuda. There's been like bitter back and forth about it. The consensus, though, appears to be that while going in their rooms and giving them exposure isn't necessarily a good idea, allowing them to come into your rooms and exposing them, not for to change their mind, because you never will change their mind. It's not about, same thing with vaccines, but to show other people their mentality, how ignorant it is, how easily it is to be dismantled, and to talk to people on the fence who could be convinced otherwise is better than having them spend that time in their own space where nobody will challenge them, nobody will combat them, and they'll be able to freely recruit more people, and they will recruit more people, rather than basically embarrass and shame them and kind of expose them for being frauds and for being hateful, bigots, racist, Nazis, etc. But I understand your view. The problem is if you completely decide to say, okay, we're not going to allow anyone to come in that doesn't will say good things about the vaccines or is
Can I clarify one thing?
Yeah.
I understand the purpose of debunking anti-vax conspiracies. That makes perfect sense to me. But